Hi there, healers. Coming to you today from my beautiful centre out near Daylesford, Victoria in Australia. And I want to talk to you about a really popular topic these days, something that I get calls most weeks on the issue, and that is entities. Now, what exactly are entities? Well, entities are non-physical beings that in their negative form latch on to people and cause them all sorts of grief, sucking their energy, twisting their emotions, causing all sorts of havoc. And if you speak to many spiritual experts, then they will have a lot to tell you on them, and they will talk to you about all these means and methods for protecting yourself. And this is really the big issue. They'll talk to you about how it is absolutely essential to protect yourself. But the question really is, how helpful is it to protect yourself from these entities, and how real are they anyway? You see, here is the thing. Whilst I'm happy to say that, yes, I believe in non-physical beings, entities are very often the fall guy for our own personal problems. They're the scapegoat. So we have an issue. Maybe I'm down on energy, maybe I'm feeling miserable and depressed for some reason, but rather than face it and say, you know what, it has something to do with me, it is some issue that I need to work through, a challenge I have to get through, we blame it on some external force. That is easier than looking in the mirror. And the issue here is we tend to go to experts and they will back us up and they'll say, oh yes, it's an entity, or actually in most cases, we never even thought about an entity to begin with. We had an issue, we went to a so-called healer, and then they told us, oh, you've got an entity attached to you. And from that moment, things tend to get worse. So possibly for a few days after the healing session, we feel a little bit better thanks to the healing, but then we start to worry about that entity and we feel it again, and it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And if you don't believe me with this, just think back to your own personal experience, or if you've never really had any issues with entities, which hopefully is the case, think of someone else who talks about them, maybe a friend, a spiritual friend of yours, and since they've really got obsessed by entities, since they've started to protect themselves all the time, has their situation got better or worse? In almost every case I know, once people start to obsess about entities, they only encounter more of these so-called entities and things actually get worse, despite all of the protection they are apparently doing on themselves. So whatever they're doing, it does not work. So what then is the solution? Well, here is the good news. Whether you actually have an entity or not. Now, I would say that in 99.5% of cases, maybe probably 99.9%, what people attribute to an entity is not an entity. As I said, it's just an issue with yourself. You're down on energy. Maybe there's an energetic block, something like that, which you need to work on, you need to clear. And that is the solution. It's got nothing to do with an entity. But even if in that 0.01% of times it is an entity, the good news is the solution is the same. All you need to do is clear the blocks and raise your energy vibration, because if it is true that like attracts like, then entities, if they're really entities, can only latch onto you if a part of your energetic vibration is low. Okay, that is a point of intersection. You've got a low point of vibration, they've got a low point, boom, the two can match. But if you raise your vibration, there is no longer any point of intersection. They cannot touch you. So even if you had an entity attached to you, if you just don't think about it, because if you focus on it, you'll become fearful. Fear is a very low vibration, then you will attract more bad stuff. So even if you had an entity, don't go speaking to these so-called experts, don't go getting advice on all the ways you need to protect yourself, okay? You will only go into a greater state of fear if you do that, and your vibration will lower. So what you need to do is just go out and do those things like meditation, healing, whatever it might be that raises your vibration. And then if you hold your vibration at a high level for a period of time, no entity will stay anywhere near you. You will not be a tasty dish anymore. You will taste foul to the entity, and they will flee and find someone else who is a tastier dish. So, as I say, it's very simple, the equation. You've got an issue, it's either A, an entity, or B, it is an entity. I'm guessing it's not, but let's imagine it is. Or in either case, the solution is going to be raise your vibration, clear the energy blocks, etc. And then you have no issue. And you know the best thing about that? The best thing is now you are self-empowered. If it's some being that can just latch itself onto you, then that is a scary thing because you have no say in the matter. You're a victim. But if you say to yourself, you know what, I am master of my energetic domain, I can control that, I can go to work, I can raise my vibration, and if I do that, only things of a similar vibration can come near me, then you are empowered, you feel good about life, and that feeling of empowerment actually will in itself raise your vibration and will protect you far better than any of these so-called protective mechanisms. So next time you see some very spiritual person or a healer and they start talking to you about entities, just ignore them and kind of in your mind go blah, 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 blah. We don't care because now you know the plan. The plan is just get to work on yourself. It's always the plan, strangely enough, isn't it? No matter what the issue, get to work on yourself, raise your vibration, and you will feel totally safe and you will not have to fear entities. So look, hope this helps. Go out, enjoy yourself, and look forward to seeing you on my next video.